All right, this tutorial is all about complementary and supplementary angles. Okay, so some definitions here. Complementary, two angles whose measures add to 90 degrees. It creates a right triangle. Supplementary are two angles whose measures add to 180 degrees. In other words, it creates a straight line. Now, the way I've told my students in the past to remember which one is 90, which one's 180, complementary comes before supplementary in the alphabet. 90 comes before 180 with numbers. All right, so examples. How do we find missing measures knowing this information? All right, so on this one, we have a 90-degree angle. You could tell by that box in the center. And we have one side that's x and one angle that's 36. So I want to set up an equation and then solve for that x. So I'm going to say 36 plus x equals 90. Then I will isolate that variable. So I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. That leaves x all by itself. Do my math. So x is 54 degrees. All right, so another one. Okay, right angles don't always have to face the same way. Okay, you'll see them a lot like this, but they don't have to. They can flip the other way. They can be turned. They can do anything. So here we have 48 degrees plus x. We know it's going to be 90 because, again, you have that box. And we're going to isolate that variable by subtracting. And we do our math. And we get 42 degrees. Okay, so this one is 42. Now to check yourself, you could take your number that you got, your answer, add it back to the angle you have, and see if it equals 90. And do the same thing here. If you're being asked to check your work, that's the way you do it. All right, what about when we have a straight line given? I don't see any right angles. Okay, I'm going to set it up the exact same way, but instead of using equals 90, I'm going to say 180. So we have 110 plus x equals 180. Now, I know you could do this in your head, but your teacher is probably going to say, show your steps. Okay, so you just solve it like a one-step equation. So in this case, x is 70 degrees. All right, over here, we have 95 degrees and x. So x plus 95 equals 180. Now, I can put these in either position. It doesn't matter. Okay, so isolate that variable. Okay, and then do your math. And we get 85 degrees. Okay, now what if we took it one step further and you throw in some variables that have numbers attached? Okay, you set it up the same way as you would prior. So I'm going to say 46 plus that 2x, because that's the entire angle, and this is 90 degrees. This now becomes a two-step equation. So subtract 46 from both sides, bring down your 2x, do your math, and divide by 2 on both sides to isolate that x, and I get 22 degrees. Now that's just x. In order to figure out what this angle is, I need to take my x times that 2, because the whole thing is 2x, and I end up with 44 degrees. All right, now you might be saying, then why did I divide by 2? Because I'm just going to take it times 2. Well, you might be asked to find what the value of x is and give the value of the angle. All right, ooh, look at this one. We have x and we have 3x. All right, so x plus 3x equals 180 because we have a straight line. Combine your like terms. So I get 4x equals 180. Divide by 4. And if you don't know what it is, it's okay to work it out. 4 can go into 18 4 times. And we get 45. So x is 45 degrees. That is simply this side. Okay, I know that's 45. What is 3 times that? Well, again, work it off to the side. Whoop, times 3. 15, 12, 13. And I get 135 degrees. Okay, hope this helps.